Hey, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren, I'm your host. Today we are going to do some beef short ribs for Super Bowl. And I'm going to do these sous vide Q so that we can cook these medium rare. Something you cannot do when you're just cooking them on the smoker. So we're going to do sous vide Q. We're going to cook a medium rare. They're going to be delicious. I'll be right back and show you how I'm going to do it.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
All right, folks, first thing I just kind of want to tell you where I got these. I got these at my local Publix supermarket. And you can get, if you can't find them in the meat counter themselves, you can always ask your butcher if they have some in the back. Sometimes they cut these up into smaller portions, and if you ask, they will sell you the whole racks like this that are pre-cut. So they'll just price them up the same way, and they'll sell them to you like this. So these aren't really large rack, and they're not, you know, huge ones like I've had before that I've gotten at the restaurant supply stores or Costco, but they're pretty meaty. They got a decent amount of fat on them, and they're larger bone. So first thing I got to do, of course, is get them out of the package, and we're going to season them up. And I'm going to use the FreshJax Smokey Southwest. I'm going to do something just a little bit different. Normally for beef ribs, I would do a regular salt, pepper, and garlic, you know, something similar to that. But this Smoky Southwest is intriguing me. So I'm going to go ahead and try the Smoky Southwest from FreshJax. All right, so let me get these out of the pack and I'll season them up. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back here, and I took these out of the pack. I got one that's slightly bigger than the other, but these should fit in the bag I got. I'm going to take my Smoky Southwest seasoning from FreshJax, and that's what we're going to use to season these up. I'm going to put a little bit on both sides, and I'm going to use one hand here for the bottle, and one hand I'm just going to kind of not really rub it in, but more just spread it around so that we get a nice even coat on here. Of course, like always, even though there's a bone, mostly bone on the other side, I'm going to season that as well, just because this rub does have salt in it, and since we are cooking it sous vide, it will brine in the sous vide bath, because heat will speed up the brining process. And even though we're not in water, it will dry brine. Salt will penetrate on both sides here. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip these over. Do the same thing on this side. Alright, guys, I decided what I'm going to do. There is a good amount of this tough sinew here on the back of these ribs. You get these on both pork ribs and beef ribs. Usually on beef ribs I'll leave it if it's not too thick, but this one's pretty thick, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. It's really easy. Just get it kind of started with your finger or a butter knife, and just grab a paper towel, and it should just pull really easy. Alright, I'll be right back after I get these seasoned up. I will be tossing them in the sous vide bath. I already got that going, and we're going to cook them just a little bit hotter, 135 for our medium rare, because we got some extra fat in these ribs that I want to get rendered, and that's what I usually do for ribeyes, chuck roast, anything I want to render a little bit more fat. I'll cook it just a little bit hotter, on the hotter side for medium rare. So let me get these finished seasoning up, and I'll throw them in the bath. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I'm going to use my Avid Armor Ultra Chamber Vac to seal these up. I'm going to get the bag under the bar there so that it doesn't pop open, so it gets a nice seal on it. We're going to seal it for 40 seconds in the chamber vac. I really like this Avid Armor chamber sealer. It works really well, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's not as heavy as some of the others. We're going to toss it in the Anova Pro container at 135.5 for 48 hours. I'll see you guys in 48 hours. All right, it's been 48 hours. I'm going to go ahead, get my Kamado Joe Classic 2 lit. I'm going to use my Sous Vide gun to light it up. Remember, this Sous Vide gun, you can also use it to light your grill and sear your food. I'm not going to use the grill gun because, well, really don't need to. This one's more handy. But I'm just going to light it in one spot. If you see, I'm not moving it around. I don't really need the whole grill up and going. I want it to come up to temp a little bit slower, so I'm just going to let it start in one spot, just so I can get that one spot going, and it'll slowly come up to temp. I'm going to go ahead and toss one decent sized piece of oak wood on. We're going to close this up, and then when it gets up to temp, we'll throw our ribs on. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. The ribs are done in the sous vide, and what I've done, I just tossed them in the sink and water bath to cool them down some. I don't really need to chill them down all the way. I just want them to drop down to like room temperature, so I can have a little bit more time on the smoker. So all I did is I filled up one of the sinks with just tap water and tossed them in there for a couple minutes. 30 minutes or so. Bring the temperature down. Not looking to store them, not looking to get it all the way down to freezing temperatures to, under 40 degrees, because we're not storing them or anything like that. I'm just going to bring it down the temperature so I can have a little bit more time on the smoker. I got my Kamado Joe getting ready up to temp. I'm going to take these out in about 2 minutes. I'm going to save the purge today and make a little bit of gravy, and then I'll season them up. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, my pit I'm going to have it at like about 350, right in that range. We're only going to be on there for about an hour or so, if that. We're just wanting to get some smoke to these and try to develop a little bit of bark. I'm going to keep these wet like I normally do when I go on a smoker afterwards, and I want to develop some smoke and bark because I want that smoke to adhere to the meat. And cold, wet meat adheres, smoke adheres to it a lot better. Now, I used the FreshJax Smokey Southwest when I first put it in the bag, but I don't want to overpower these ribs with too much of a spicy taste. So I'm going to use some just salt, pepper, garlic. I used the Himalayan pink salt from FreshJax, some of their garlic powder, and some of their crushed black pepper. And we're just going to put a little bit on here, don't want to really pack it in, just enough to give it a nice little base layer. I am going to do both sides, but this is your meaty side, so I'm going to put a little bit more on this side. The other side's more of the bone, but I am going to put just a little bit on that. I did save the bag juices, and what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to boil off the proteins and stuff that kind of foam up at the top when I put this on a medium-high heat. We're going to add a little bit of beef stock and season it up just a little bit and make a gravy. All right, the Kamado Joe's up to temp. I'm going to go ahead and toss these ribs on. They're not going to be on for very long, but I'm going to come back and check them at about 20 minutes. It's about 25 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pop this open and take a look, and they're looking pretty good. So I'll give them a go for another 35 minutes or so, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, they've been on there almost an hour, a little bit less. I'm going to go ahead, and it's been right at about 350. And I'm going to go ahead and looking pretty good. Like I said, we're not going to look for a really super dark bark. I just want a nice smoke and a nice decent bark, which we got there. I'm going to temp these with my Inkbird, see how they are. And we're sitting like right at like 143 or so, which is a good medium temp. 144, 143. So, yep, they're just about done. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll leave them on there for just another minute while I get my gravy and stuff done, and then we'll take them off and rest them for a minute. I'll be right back. Well, here we are, guys. Take a look. Smell that smoke. I used oak. All right. These actually turned out pretty good. Like I said, I wasn't going for what I would normally get if I was cooking these just on a smoker, because I wanted them kind of a medium doneness, medium rare to medium doneness, you know, higher end of medium rare, lower end of medium, but I still want to get that smoky bark, and that's a pretty good bark for me. You could always put it on a broiler if you wanted to. You could put it directly over the heat if you wanted to, but I wanted a little bit of smoke and develop some kind of a nice smoky type bark here, and that's what I got. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these open. I'm just going to cut this dino rib right here, and that is looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and cut this other one. So you can see there just how those look. There you go. That's something you cannot do. That's something you just cannot do just in a smoker alone. Might not be for everybody, but I like doing them this way every once in a while. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece off, just for the fact that I can still get some good juiciness here. Still steak-like. It's tender. I don't have to worry about it just being all well done. So like I said, with the sous vide lets you do some stuff like this with your smoker that you can't do with your smoker by itself. So I'll go ahead and eat this. Bit right through, super tender. That rub tastes really good. That smoky Southwestern from FreshJax mixed with salt, pepper, and garlic. It's got a little bit of a kick and a little bit of savory. It's actually really good. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check this out. Do this if you like. I mean, it's like I said, it's just a different way you can do beef ribs that you can't do just in a smoker. Thanks for watching. Follow us on the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast as well, and I'll see you in the next video.